On January 3rd, 2012, my son Fred posted a YouTube video. That's the day that it posted. On February the 7th, 2012, 1 month and 4 days later, my son Fred Rio, his friends call him Cook, was arrested. Now, granted that police officers had come to our place of residency, and it was 4 of them. To me, they looked like they were in riot gear. I was told by one of them who looked familiar to me from as a childhood friend of my son's that he was from Coda. Later, a neighbor told me quite recently, a couple of days ago, that not only were there 4 officers in front, there were 2 in back, and they were DEA, all of them.
There's a young brother named Fred Rio who's a friend of our movement and who is a rapper. He's an artist, right? He raps and has aspirations, you know, to make a living off of his work, much like the masses of young Africans in the absence of any form of economic development, no jobs, you know, no educational system, etc. One of the only ways in which young Africans can participate in the legal capitalist economy is through the music industry itself. And so you see a whole generation of young Africans that involved in that. But this brother Fred, first of all, we should say also, because of the policy of police containment of our community, Fred caught charges in the past, and as a result is on probation. And this is part of the context you have to understand this struggle in. But recently, he posted a video that he and some of his partners had produced of a song that he did, and posted it up on YouTube and promoted it through Facebook, etc. Now, at the same time, the St. Petersburg Police Department has a special, task force. Tim Morenga, what's the exact name of that?
Career Offender Tracking and Apprehension Unit.
So there you go, Career Offender Tracking and Apprehension Unit. And all these forces do is, monitor the, activity of those Africans who are on probation, who are on papers, And so, this tracking unit will monitor, what you do on Facebook or YouTube or any other way they can monitor your activity. So they go to Fred's Facebook page, and on the profile picture, first of all, they see, a picture of an African man with an American flag tied around his neck like a noose. He's being hung by the U.S., right? So this is the profile picture on Fred's page. And of course, this raises all types of red flags for the task force. And so they dig deeper, and they find the YouTube video that he produced, in which, and we're gonna show you the video, in which Fred is shown, flashing guns and whatnot, as well as his crew. Now, the guns is not even real. They fake, they props, part of the video and the message that the video is conveying, But the government, the state, used the content of the video as a justification to, violate him on his probation, saying that he violated because he's in possession of guns and whatnot. They also tried to violate him on having a so-called bootleg video. When they ran up on him, they found a so-called bootleg video in his pocket, one DVD that wasn't bought from Blockbuster or, a Blockbuster or Walmart. So this in itself was another way to violate him on his probation. So now Fred is actually locked up in the Pinellas County Jail, and going through all types of struggles simply, for, showing, putting a video of a rap song that he did on YouTube, And so we find this struggle to be really significant for a number of reasons. 3 reasons particularly. One is because it deals with the question of economic development, for young Africans in particular, where, it ain't no jobs, the government is taking all our resources, you can't even drive down the block without getting stopped by the street team and all the street crimes unit. And, when you try to, have your art up on YouTube, then you labeled as a criminal, you locked up as a consequence of that, which is an attack on our ability to, for economic development and, create, commerce in our own community, It's also, as even some of the anti-war movement forces would recognize to be an attack on our right to free speech. Because, the picture on his Facebook page of the African with the noose of the American flag, that's real. And, that's a legitimate criticism of the relationship that the U.S. government has with African people, especially young Africans, right? And who the hell, he has a right to have any, picture he wants to on his Facebook page, right? You got, white people who have, they can show videos of them, of Marines pissing on, dead Afghani people, right? They can put all types of, white nationalist content on their Facebook page, and it's promoted, and upheld by various sectors of the ruling class media. But when we try to criticize imperialism and on our own terms, we see what the consequences from the state are. And I think it's also important to raise up that this is a form of counterinsurgency that we're looking at, right?
Yes. Where you from, nigga? Coming from the motherfucking south side, man. Get now. They like, where you from, homie? Why you talk like that? Why you walk like that? Where you from, nigga? South side. South side. South side. South side. Seen y'all suckers with my crew, I'm riding with the homies, smoking with the boys. They say I'm immature cause I'm playing with them toys, making hella noise, so you better get employed and stay on the blocks if your life you enjoy. No joy, but the homies got that boy. Block boys, jack boys, boy, they're my boys. Fuck the records like a game, a jacket you get took if you make the wrong move. Respects, or I'm standing over your mattress, shoot you while you resting, in your closet while you addressing, motherfucker. South, tipping south side. South, tipping south side. South, tipping south side. You know. Come on. Tipping south side. South, tipping south side. South, tipping south side. You know. As I stand with this blunt in my hand, smoking my mouth, like I'm a grown ass man, 100% black man. But probably don't understand. Run me out my land like a yeah. All the bands, yeah, because the hills to my slippers look out the window. All I see is demons and witches. I'm surrounded by bitches, I swear these niggas snitches. They telling D and everything they witness. Paying attention for the fun, stay runs. With the slugs for their guns, exploiting niggas for fun on VH1. Making a point that made niggas look dumb. Making the sun while niggas struggling in the slums. Back in the days, now these people play our videos. Now they got flavor kissing all these white hoes. Pay attention, cause I ain't stupid, and I ain't foolish, but if you don't beat the games, then you win. South, tipping like a low. South, tipping with my fofo. South, tipping with my fofo. You know, come on, tipping like a low. South, tipping with my fofo. South, tipping with my fofo. You know. Drives me mad till I mash on the gas for the intentions to crash. Thinking things I could have had, I let it pass. Fit a cap to the back
The idea that a video, which is effectively a movie, and they can arrest somebody because they were also claiming that he was shooting gang signs on the video, and that there were people drinking beer or maybe passing what looks like a reefer on the video. They found out at the last moment that the guns were props, that they were not real guns. But they've already arrested him now, using that as the basis for the arrest, talking about a felon in possession of a firearm. And then they use the arrest to search him so they can now charge him with the thing of having so-called bootleg DVDs. And so it's a setup from the very beginning. But I think it's really problematic that because if they use that as the basis of arresting him, Denzel Washington is next. I mean, the point is that if they arrested him because of a movie, and the guns and whatever else, there was a movie that was being made. And it's extraordinary in my estimation. And that to say that there are forces out there who can arrest somebody because of what they got up on YouTube, that has serious implications for everything that we do. And I think that we should take this case in a very serious way and run with it. I don't think Pinellas County, I don't think the United States government can defend what it has just done.